Can DJ Lagway carry Florida, carry Billy Napier and the Gators to a college football playoff appearance? It's something that, it's actually a question that I asked myself. This is not a viewer question. This is something that I straight up asked myself. DJ Lagway is viewed as almost a unanimous top 5 quarterback in college football entering 2025. DJ Lagway is viewed as one of the best in the SEC, one of the best in college football, and Florida returns a lot of seniors. So can Lagway carry the Florida Gators, carry Florida football to the college football playoffs? I think actually the answer is yes. Yes, he can. And the reasoning for that is he has an experienced team, one of the more experienced teams in college football, and the schedule aligns for them better than it did last year. And the third point, which we'll get to at the end, is that DJ Lagway is so talented to where if he is a top 5 QB or the best QB in the country or second best or third best, if he's in that top 5, he may carry Florida to some wins that they shouldn't earn, or wins against teams that are clearly better than them, especially since they host Texas, for example. They host Tennessee. Georgia is in a familiar neutral field site in Jacksonville. You look at Florida's roster: wide receiver X, senior; wide receiver Z, senior; left tackle, senior; center, senior; guard, right guard, senior. DJ Lagway, sophomore; Jaden Baugh, sophomore, but his backup, Jacoby Jackson, senior. And same thing with the backup right guard, Cameron Waits, senior. And Devin Manuel, the backup right tackle, senior. The two deep is full of older guys, and some of the younger guys, like Eugene Wilson III, DJ Lagway, and Jaden Baugh, are fairly talented. Look on the defense. It's littered with seniors and juniors. D-end, Tyreek Sapp, redshirt senior. Jamari Lyons, nose tackle, redshirt junior. Caleb Banks, D-tackle, redshirt senior. George Gums Jr. at Jack, senior. Miles Graham at linebacker, sophomore. Grayson Howard, junior. Corner, Devin Moore, senior. Another corner, right corner, Dijon Johnson, junior. And the nickel and the two safeties, Jordan Castell, Bryce Thornton, and Sharif Denson, juniors. Now, the two deep on defense is younger than the two deep on offense. It is. And I would expect that, given that Florida's offensive line is the strength of their team. I would straight up expect that, for the offense to be deeper and better built than the defense. But Florida, with roster seniority, and roster seniority is rare. Now, this is not 2023, 2024, or 2022, or 2021, where you have COVID sixth years. That's not what this is. The sixth-year senior is almost entirely a thing of the past, with rare exception, and after this year, it certainly will be gone, with rare exceptions, like a medical redshirt, for example. I look at Florida, and I think to myself that with an older roster that can limit mistakes, that can do some coaching of their own, that can be coaches because they're older, and they have highly talented players like Jaden Baugh, DJ Lagway. I think center Jake Slaughter is the best center in college football. You then look at their schedule and you think to yourself, well, in weeks 1 and 2, they get 2 easy games. There's no kicking off against Miami like last year. You have LIU and USF in weeks 1 and 2. Then you go on the road to LSU and on the road to Miami back-to-back in weeks 3 and 4. Those are not guaranteed losses. Miami loses more than Florida, and I think LSU is relying a lot more on the portal than they should, and Florida has actually done a better job of retaining and upgrading their roster than LSU has, especially when it comes to the long term. Relying on that many transfers if you're LSU is dangerous. There is a world where Florida is 4-0 entering the bye week in week 5. More likely than not, it's 3-1. I think they'll drop one of the road games to LSU or Miami. But then anywhere from 3-1 to 4-0 and maybe 2-2. But they'll be a strong team regardless. They enter that week 6 matchup against Texas at home. Let's say they're 3-1 or 4-0. And let's say that Arch Manning has somewhat of a bad day, that Texas's O-line on the road in the swamp in a night game just gets off the wrong foot, tons of false starts, It's just not a good day for a Texas team that does lose a lot, especially on offense. And say that DJ Lagway, hypothetically speaking, is the number one QB, which is possible. And because he's the number one QB, no matter how good Texas's defense is, he is going to make some plays. And Florida beats Texas in week 6. You're looking at a 5-0 or a 4-1 team that just beat a unanimous preseason top 5 team. At that point, a road game against Texas A&M is an impossible to win. Mississippi State in week 8 will probably be a cakewalk, and then off the bye from week 9, in week 10, a neutral field game against Georgia, that won't be an impossible win. Florida was beating Georgia last year when DJ Lagway was healthy before he got hurt. And then road game against Kentucky in week 11, another road game against Ole Miss in week 12. That'll be hard, but they're both winnable games. And then against Tennessee in week 13, Tennessee has a hard time beating Florida, especially in the swamp. And then Florida State in week 14, I think after Florida and Florida State play their respective schedules, that might be a cakewalk game, especially since it's at home for the Gators. Florida is a team that could go 6-6 or 7-5. They're also a team that could go 10-2. And a 10-2 Florida team would, just absolutely reach the college football playoff. It wouldn't even be a conversation. And with that schedule, they would get a home game. Imagine a playoff game in the swamp. Just if you're a Florida fan, imagine that. Just close your eyes, take a deep breath, and imagine that. A playoff game in the swamp. It'd be a thing of beauty. So yes, I do think DJ Lagway can carry Florida to the college football playoffs. And heck, he'll probably do some carrying because I don't think their roster is one of the best in the country. But he's one of the best in the country at QB, and Florida's roster is still good. It's a top 15 talent roster. When you adjust for development and game day coaching, it's around that or maybe a little bit lower, but still definitely top 25, top 20. And that with a superstar QB can get you places. That can get you to the college football playoff. That can get you a win over Georgia or Texas, especially since those games are not on the road. That can get you a win over Miami on the road or LSU on the road, for example. So I'm not sitting here telling you Florida will make the playoffs. I'm not actually predicting that to happen, but it is possible, and it's something you should pay attention to. It's something that you should settle in your mind that it's a possibility that Florida can reach the college football playoffs, especially because of DJ Lagway.